Hey, I'm Becca with the Happy Ever Crafter, and today I'm going to show you what the #1 most frustrating thing I see happening with beginners trying to learn calligraphy is, why it's wrong, and how to make it right. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'm actually going to tell you exactly where you can go to get a whole archive of free information that I've put out there for beginners wanting to start from the very ground up. And it'll give you the perfect spot to kick off and make sure that you're doing things right from the get-go. So like I said, what I'm about to show you is hands down the most frustrating thing I see happening with beginners who are trying to learn calligraphy. And especially all over social media these days, it's really starting to be an issue that I see come up more often. And the problem is that it's such an easy fix once you know what you're doing that everybody should be able to do it. So I'm going to jump right in and show you what I'm talking about. And as I go, I'm going to show you what materials I'm using to demonstrate. The first thing I want you to understand right off the bat is this. Cursive and calligraphy are not the same thing. They are completely different. Sure, you can sort of make cursive look like calligraphy if you understand the basic concept of the thins and thick lines, but they are not the same thing. So for this example, in the cursive, I used this pen, which is a monoline pen. It's not flexible, it's just a normal pen. For calligraphy, I used a brush pen, and so the end of it is flexible and allows you to add different pressures to make those thins and thick lines. But the other difference in calligraphy is actually that you're using a series of basic strokes. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that for you next. To demonstrate this next part, I'm going to be using Rhodia paper, which is a really great quality paper and it's good for brush pens, as well as one monoline pen and one brush pen. This one is by Sakura and this one is by Tombow. When I talk about the main mistake that I see people making, the mistake is that people assume they can just take cursive writing and add pressures to it and it will be calligraphy. I'm going to demonstrate why that's wrong. So the first H I'm going to draw is in cursive. Now if I take that same H and I add pressures to it, it might sort of look like calligraphy because of the thin and thick strokes, but technically it's not calligraphy because it's not broken down into pieces. So that's what I'm going to show you next. If I were to do that same H, but now with my calligraphy strokes, it would look more like this. And then if I do that same thing, but add the pressure, it looks more like that. So you can see the difference right away in how consistent each letter looks versus cursive. And the reason for that is that calligraphy is actually broken down into a series of what they call basic strokes. And those basic strokes look like this. So these are your basic strokes. You have your upstroke, downstroke, overturn, underturn, compound curve, oval, ascending loop, descending loop, and comma dot. And when you put all of these together in certain formations, they make your whole alphabet. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to go back to the letter H that we were looking at before. And so now if you look at the letter H broken down into your basic strokes, it would look like this. Upstroke, so this stroke, and you take your pen off the paper in between, and then ascending loop, so this stroke, and again take your hand off the paper, and then your compound curve, which is this stroke. And so now you can see really how consistent that H is. And when you put it next to other letters that have some of the similar strokes, it'll look nice and consistent. So I'm going to go through the whole alphabet and break it down by color and all the different strokes. And for that, I'm going to use these Pentel touch markers. These are smaller colored brush pens, and they're really great for beginners. So I'm going to link to them in the show notes below. But for now, I'm going to go through the entire alphabet broken down into strokes. When all your letters are lined up this way and broken down into strokes, you can really see where you're being consistent and where you're not. For example, if you look at these two descending loops, they're for totally different letters, the G and the J, but they are the exact same as each other. So the more consistent you can be with your basic strokes, the more consistent your whole alphabet will look. So to recap what we've talked about in this video, cursive and calligraphy are not the exact same thing. They're different. And the reason is that cursive is not built up of basic strokes like calligraphy is. In calligraphy, consistency is key. And in order to get that consistency, you need to know your basic strokes. So if you've watched this whole video and now you're wondering where you can learn those basic strokes, I've created a resource called Show Me Your Drills. It's a 30-day challenge, and it's only open a couple times a year. And it's a workbook and videos and a whole archive of information that you can get totally free, where we go through each of the basic strokes once a week for 4 weeks. And so by the end of that challenge, you're doing less and less tracing, and you're able to do the basic strokes totally on your own. And then once you know the basic strokes, you can start building your alphabet, and then it's off from there. I hope this video made sense for you, and I really hope that you take advantage of the free Show Me Your Drills challenge. You can go to showmeyourdrills.com to get it, and I will see you next time.